Howdy, howdy, folks. This is Tony Johnson, the Mindful and Fit Coach, checking in. Oh, hello. Now I'm live. This is weird. This is mostly just a test of going live for the first time. This is Tony Johnson. I'm the co-owner and operator of Mindful and Fit Coaching. It is a cold, blustery, windy, rainy day here in Northern California where I am tuning in to introduce the play paradigm to each of you. How would your life be different if you invited a little bit more play? What might you learn about yourself and your body if you viewed movement as an opportunity to experience exploratory and experiential play? Well, we firmly believe at Mindful and Fit Coaching that if movement was shifted in our understanding from something that we have to do to something that we get to do, we can overcome a lot of the problems facing society, in the sense that many of us live in our heads and rarely give ourselves the gift of getting out of our heads and into our bodies. And we wrote a book called What's Next, which is a collaborative effort with 27 other fitness industry experts answering the question of what is next for the fitness, health, and wellness industry following the coronavirus pandemic. And our chapter is chapter 14. It's called The Play Paradigm. It offers the following advice for how to make fitness more accessible and inclusive to all members of the human race, regardless of whether you have athletic background, whether you have injury history, whether you like or dislike movement. And really what we want to do is introduce the flow states, the states of being in flow, four interconnected stages that if we can integrate these understandings into our movement practices, can really free up and liberate us from living in our minds. Okay, so the states of flow, the struggle state, that's where we're living and obsessing about thoughts. Well, what if I hurt myself? What if people judge me? What if people look at me funny? What if I don't know how to do it? Where we're so inundated with thinking that our brains release stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, and we often get in the way of actually seeking the very thing that would help us, which is movement. The second is the release stage, the release of thought by taking deep breaths and getting into our body, by starting to walk, which is known to reduce anxiety and to increase neural network connection between the brain and the body. At this point, in the release stage, what happens is the brain will release nitrous oxide to push away those stress hormones and to get you more in flow. The third stage of flow is actually the flow state. This is the fixation, the focus point, typically reserved for the highest performers. But in reality, it is where you get in the zone, totally focused on the task at hand, and allows you to achieve whatever you set out to achieve, whether that's writing a book, whether that's running a marathon, whether that's just finishing a workout and getting those happiness hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. The final stage of flow that we introduce in the chapter is the recovery stage. There's a growing focus on recovery and biohacking through meditation, through abstinence from technology and devices, improving sleep, etc. And really, this is where the sleep is where our body repairs neural networks that are damaged, is where our muscles restore themselves after hermetic stress. So the recovery stage is the final stage of flow. We also, in this chapter, introduce really what we believe to be a groundbreaking understanding of fitness. And if everyone just began to smile more often, I think that they would begin to enjoy fitness. What we call it is putting the fun back in functional fitness. So SMILE, it stands for self-acceptance, monitor biofeedback, identify resistance, lead with love, and practice equanimity. I'll go through each part individually real quick. Self-acceptance. I think all too often we get in our own way by judging, labeling, shaming, and critiquing our own performances. If we begin to understand that we are all just works in progress and doing our best to practice healthy habits, I think that takes away a lot of the pressure and allows it to be more fun. I also think that based on my experience of 145-pound weight loss, if we can get beyond the competition and begin to view ourselves as collaborative agents of change in our own lives and in each other's lives, I think that that is the basis by which we can smile and put the fun back in functional fitness. Monitor biofeedback. Our body is always communicating with us, and all too often we wait until it is screaming bloody murder and we need to go to the hospital to listen. During workouts, it's often said, just push, 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 push to the limit, push beyond your limits. And I think it's much better to understand that our body is always communicating with us, to listen to our body and to learn strategies for adhering to the cues that it's offering. Identify resistance. Resistance can be a mental thought or a mental image, or it could be a physical form of feedback. But identify the resistance, the forms, the very essence of things that are getting in your way and preventing you from succeeding. Lead with love. Remember, at the end of the day, love is the reason we're here as human beings. Remembering that love is the basis by which movement becomes enjoyable. If you learn to love what you do, you'll do it uncritically and without much thought. I think as someone who is very intimidated by being in a gym, if you can get out in nature and if you can be in tune with your body and your breath, you'll easily learn to love being active, and you'll love the feeling that comes afterwards. Finally, is practicing equanimity. Equanimity is the idea of being calm under duress. And if we are to practice equanimity, we can do two things. Number one, we can grow through what we go through, and we do not allow the factors of life that make it difficult, hard, stressful to get at us or to eat us away. We can instead remain calm in the face of adversity. One of my favorite quotes is, even the mightiest of oak will be uprooted by the storm, but the blade of grass will bend in the wind and await the next moment of sunshine. All of our lives have moments of stress, pressure, anxiety, adversity. And we do not have to succumb to those moments. If we look for what we can do in those moments to remain calm, but to remain focused and think forward about getting beyond the storm, we can practice equanimity and smile more throughout our workouts. So, our chapter in What's Next previews and forecasts the future of the health and wellness industry, encouraging inclusivity, accessibility by promoting exercise as being something that we flow through, breath to movement, that we grow an increasing intimacy with our bodies, and that we smile, that we practice self acceptance, we monitor biofeedback, we identify resistance, we lead with love, and we practice equanimity. I hope you've taken something from my talk today and you apply it in your own lives. Maybe just go out for a walk and enjoy nature. Maybe check in with your body during your next workout and ask, what does my body need right now? Or maybe just smile a little bit more during your next family outing or gathering together. Make today amazing, just like you.